Hey everyone, happy Thursday. My name is John. I'm the founder of whatifi. I'm also on holidays here right now. I'm just going to kind of rub in the view. These are Vancouver's Gulf Islands in the background there right now. Being a tech founder means I'm always working, and we also have SIGGRAPH coming up. So I am working on some things behind the scenes here. The big question I get from a lot of folks is how easy is it to build a model? What is the learning curve like? So I'm going to show you that really quickly here. But before I do that, here's a shameless promotion. I am going to be at SIGGRAPH. So at SIGGRAPH this year, if you see this on the back of my laptop, you know that is me, and I'm doing demos on the floor there. So I'm happy to sit down and talk about whatifi, the roadmap, and what we're building. With that in mind, let's build a scenario very quickly. So I'm in the desktop version of whatifi, and I'm going to add a new scenario. Let's just call this foo2 scenario, and all scenarios need a start date. So I'm just going to pick a start date here, let's say the beginning of May. And now I have the starter canvas here for my model. All models start with a start event here. I can click on this event and now get to my library of events. These are some of the ones we currently have. So things like debit, credit, income, expense, banks, and loans. We have other ones that are here, and we also have some that are in development, like our capacity module, which will be live sometime in early September. So let's start with something really basic like an income event. So I can click on an income event and proceed. And here I have some of the metadata that's required to build out this event. So I could call this something like revenue stream one, and maybe this is something that's a monthly revenue. It's something like $10,000 a month. I assign it to an income account. We have a full chart of accounts and ledgers in here, so I could put it into these sub accounts if I wanted to. And you have to pick a date. So maybe this starts in November right now and has no end date. So I'm able to add that in right now. Now I have that event. I can open up my graph at the bottom and I can see that $10,000 a month coming in, which is great. Now, someone might say something like, well, what if there's a specific month where there's more money coming in? I give you the ability to be very granular if you want to. So we could add an override in here, and maybe in this month, we know it's going to be $90,000 for some reason. And maybe in this month, I know it's only going to be $5,000. So high level, being able to put in broad stroke numbers, or also the ability to put in or import specific values here, and we can add those in, and now you're actually seeing the $100,000 and the $5,000. So it all lives here concurrently in the model. The next thing, well, you've got one revenue stream in here right now. Let's create a second revenue stream. I could duplicate this. So now I have revenue stream number two. We can delete the overrides and we can say that this is going to be $7,500. And this is going to be, say, weekly revenue. And this is going to run for a shorter period of fixed time. So maybe this runs from January and is only going to run for a couple of months. And now I can add this in. And now we see the two revenue streams here combined, right? So monthly or cumulatively, I can see this revenue coming in. So that's one quick way of adding in revenue, for example. Now we can also be more granular. So I could use something which we call a contract event. Contract event allows us to be super specific about when the money is actually coming in. So maybe this is something like Project A. It has a start date of December, and it is a $1 million project. Its initial payment is maybe 30% up front, but we know this client pays 30 days, and we're going to complete it in 10 months there. That's going to be 30-day payments, but let's add a milestone. So if I add a milestone in here, maybe 5 months out, this is 25%. And now what we've quickly done is we've actually built a waterfall of when the money is actually going to come in, the schedule, the invoice dates, and the actual percentages. So now I'm able to add this in right now, and now I can see the contract revenue and the regular revenue. So how can you tell the difference? I can bypass this event at any particular stage, and now I'm only showing you the contract revenue. Or I can turn this back on right now, and now you're seeing both of those revenue combined. So basic income. How about some basic expenses? Well, expenses, similar as well. We can have an expense event here. We can have things like loans. We can even amortize some expenses. So maybe let's amortize an expense. So let's call this, say you're buying some servers or something, and those servers are going to be $500,000. It's going to be paid, it's an amortized expense. So it's going to be paid monthly over 5 months. and we have our expense, and this is going to start in March. Okay, let's add that in. So now I'm able to see both our income, but I could also put up our expenses here. So expenses, our amortized expense, income, our money coming in, cash flow, the difference between the two, right? So we're able to sort of see that. So that's the basics on how easy it is to add these events. Now we certainly have some more advanced events here that have a lot of dependencies. So I could kind of go into things like my small, medium-sized business module here, and we could do something like website traffic. So maybe I have a website right now, and that website, let's drop this in, is live as of today, and there are 1,000 people visiting that website every month. So now we have website visitors. This doesn't apply to visual effects so much, or industries that are project-based, but for other industries that are trying to drive traffic to their website, this is really, really important. So now I have these website visitors every month, but then maybe I'm doing a campaign to drive more traffic to that website. So here I might use something like a campaign event. A campaign is cost per click advertising, so maybe we're running LinkedIn ads for some reason. So I'm trying to send people to that website. I'm going to spend $4,000 a month. The cost per paid visit here might be something like $10. And I'm going to start running this campaign in December, and we're going to run it to end of June. So now I can see that I'm basically going to be adding 400 more people to my website visitors every particular month there right now. So that's what we're working through, and I'm just going to control that expense and say add. So quick calculation back. Now this time let's look at our website visitors. Bubble that up, and now I am sort of seeing my regular visitors, my spike in visitors, the campaign ends, and we're back down to regular visitors. Now, speaking of generative events, that's all great. We have people coming to my website. How many of those people become customers? I'm going to insert an event upstream here. So you can add events anywhere that you want to. So now I'm going to add customers. Let's say I have something here like a cohort A customers. And there's nobody in that cohort right now. Establish that for today. What I've done is I've created a bucket of customers and a bucket of website visitors. I've created a campaign event that is driving people to the website every month. That's great. But when do they become customers? I'm going to add a customer transfer event. So this is for shifting from one type of cohort to another. So starting today, I'm going to start with my website visitors, and I'm going to convert some of those to be customer cohort visitors. We're going to take a percentage every month, and we're going to say that 35% of the people that go to the website every month are going to become customers. All right, and boom, I now have that in here. Same sort of thing. Let's take a look at our customers, and we're going to add that. Now I can also see the percentage of customers that we're getting every particular month. I can now do downstream things like having software as a service products, maybe something that's $40 a month or $50 a month, multiplying that by our customers to be able to build out our models. So what have we done? We've thrown a bunch of random events together here. Some are income, some expenses, some are generative things like customers and cohorts. Only thing we want to be able to do is play around with timings of things. Right now we have one scenario, just a single sort of scenario, because there's one stream of events that are here. But we might want to do something that has a what if to it. So what if we don't buy the new servers? Okay, let's put a decision in here. So I'm going to use a decision event, drop this in, and then I'm going to use what's called a null event. It's a nothing. We're not doing anything. I'm going to branch this event. I'll click over here. I'm going to grab a null. And again, once you use the software a little bit and start to get familiar with these events, you'll know which ones to use on a regular basis and where they're hidden. I'm going to drop a null in here right now. So now I have a partner scenario here. And now I'm going to connect this back. I'm going to bring this back together. Boom. And now we actually have two scenarios. One where we do have the $500,000 server costs and one where we don't. I'm able to see both of those threads. I'm able to look at those concurrently for something through cash flow. and we can see the difference between those two models playing out here in real time. Right? And again, you can build and expand upon this one here. Say back to our customers, we had customers, 35% of them are converting to being paid customers. You might want to change that. So I'm going to put another decision event in here, and I'm going to grab my customer transfer, and I'm going to copy it and paste it. And now in this one here, instead of being 35%, I'm going to say, well, what if this is only 20%? Okay. So now you'll see we actually have 4 different scenarios, right? They're all sort of playing out here at the same time, but you'll notice that our customer count is different in each of those models that are there because we have a lower conversion rate. So this isn't a real scenario here per se, it's just a grab bag of things we're kind of putting together. But it'll give you a sense of how easy it is to add events, bridge events, branch events, how easy it is to toggle things on and off to see what they look like. It's also really easy to make a decision. So maybe at the end of the day, your team decides that you're not going to spend the money on the extra servers. We can lock in the non-server path. You'll notice the other one is grayed out. We're down to 2 scenarios here right now, and you're able to build and make more decisions based upon some of these decisions that have already been made. So that's my quick intro to how easy it is to use the UI. As I mentioned, there's a learning curve, but once you spend a little bit of time with it and you understand some of the logic, it becomes fairly quick to build and model some of these scenarios. Anyway, reminder again, I'm going to be at SIGGRAPH. I'm going to be there on the 9th, 10th, and the 11th. Just going to be walking the exhibition floor, and I'm happy to have a conversation with anyone who's interested in whatifi for scenario planning like this, or to talk about our capacity and staffing module that we're building as we speak. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.